Welcome everyone, I'm Jed Shlackman. In this video I'll be speaking about the subject of success and failure and how we perceive that, how we define it, and the fears or anxieties that people have that are associated with those experiences. The first thing to consider is how we're really subjectively defining success or failure in our life experience. It's really a mental construct that we have, a polarized way of defining how we're proceeding or progressing towards some standard that we've set for ourselves or that other people have set that we're trying to meet or conform to. In a sense, everything is kind of a neutral experience until we give some definition to it, some meaning or interpretation to it. So you could be, let's say, studying something or working on a project, trying to create something, and you might go through the effort of repeating something hundreds of times until you get it just the way you want it. So in a sense, all those times that you didn't achieve the full outcome you wanted to manifest or create, it could seem or feel like a failure if you attach that meaning or definition to it. But you could also just look at it as a learning experience, a test of an idea or a hypothesis. You're just tinkering around or playing around with something, working toward some eventual achievement or eventual creation that you'll find satisfying. But in the meantime, you don't have to feel like you're a failure. You don't have to feel unsatisfied with your efforts so far. You could just see it in a more neutral way as part of your learning experience, part of the refinement of your skills, etc. So we can carry that type of attitude into any aspect of our life, rather than looking at things that are in some way disappointing or not what we're hoping to accomplish, seeing those as learning experiences rather than labeling or defining them as failures. We can look at the example of people who are very well known in certain areas of life, who achieve something that's very highly regarded by those around them, and in most cases it took them a long time to refine their skills or to get to the point where they became a supposed success or someone who was highly acclaimed for what they've created or accomplished. So if we were to look at each of the steps in their journey, we might see many previous efforts that seemed like failures, but were really just preparation or refinement leading toward the eventual outcome that got labeled as a success or an accomplishment or achievement. So in that sense, everything is just a step toward whatever comes after it, whatever it leads to later. So you don't really need to see anything as a defining failure or success. Those are all just temporary labels or perceptions we have of whatever efforts we're carrying out toward anything in our life. And they don't define who we are fundamentally as a human being or a spiritual being. No one as a being per se is a failure or a success. Those are just labels we give to certain efforts in our life path. So we don't have to look at things in such a polarized or extreme way. We can kind of be more in a neutral space of just appreciating every step along our path, appreciating our entire life journey, both the things that we felt disappointed about or the things that we felt satisfied or elated about. They're all just temporary steps or positions along our path, and our existence really doesn't have a beginning or end. We're continuing to grow and evolve even beyond our present lifetime. So from that even more expanded perspective, it's even more fruitless to label things as failures or successes. Of course, within our human journey, we do tend to attach those labels or meanings to things, and people often say that they're afraid of failure, and in some cases people may even be told or think or feel that they're afraid of success, that in some way they're sabotaging their own success because success is in some way attached to something negative. So they may feel that if they're successful, they'll receive some form of unwanted or excessive attention. A spotlight will be shined on them that makes them uncomfortable. They might feel or expect that other people will be jealous or envious of them. Other people might try to pull them down or hurt them if they see them as successful. So with all that, people become even anxious or insecure about having an experience that would be viewed as a success, and they might in some way restrict themselves or limit themselves to avoid reaching that status or that level of accomplishment in their life. And then of course there are people that are afraid of reactions or perceptions of others if they have some perceived failure, if they don't reach some expectation, if they don't conform to some standard that's being presented. So there could be some fear of judgments of others, of feeling embarrassed or ashamed about oneself. So the fear isn't really about success or failure. It's primarily about the feelings you might have attached to it, or the repercussions, other things that might occur in life as a result or consequence of those perceived successes or failures. So you might fear being in a state of poverty, or you might fear rejection or having your friends or family desert you or abandon you. There's all different other sorts of things that are connected or attached to the idea of success or failure. So when people believe or are told that they have a so-called fear of failure or success, it's not about that particular outcome per se. It's more about other things or feelings or emotions that are attached to that. So we can look at things in our life and how we're perceiving, how we're defining them, all the different beliefs and emotions that we have attached to things, and access some deeper level of awareness of who we are that transcends that, that's not so much limited by the idea of success or failure, to see ourselves as kind of a more limitless, eternal being going through these experiences, exploring the possibilities of what we can create and accomplish in our life, and realizing that everything is just a step along the path, things are temporary or impermanent. Even some great achievement or perceived success may not last. We might go to another phase in our life beyond that, where that kind of fades into the past, into the distance, where we're not feeling so excited or elated about that anymore. We're looking to see what's the next part of our path, what's something else we can accomplish, to not just be stagnant, to not just rest on our laurels, so to speak, from what we've already done, but to continue further in our evolution. I hope that this brief discussion of the ideas, the concepts of success and failure, has kind of expanded your context of how you explore those topics in your own life. Perhaps this will be liberating, allowing you to be more free to go forward in your life without having fears, without having any anxiety or resistance to whatever might unfold, to be receptive to whatever comes about or manifests in your life, and to continue forward on your path with whatever kind of excites you or inspires you for the moment. That might be something that changes over time, so it's important to you now, might change a year from now or 5 years from now, and that's okay. The things that might have seemed like failures in your past might not look like failures based on your current perspective. You might actually see those as necessary parts of your path that led up to where you are now, to where you're going forward to in the current stage of your life journey. For those that are interested in holistic health and personal growth, you're invited to visit my website, phinsights.com. That's spelled PHINSIGHTS.com. For now, I wish everyone a wonderful day. Namaste.